Hi everyone, I am Nono and welcome back to my video part 3. And this is the same topic again, and then this is about approaching the question we have observed last week on video part 2 of how to approach the question like in certain facts. It's like layered by layer, how to read the questions. In the question there are always instructions. So in the instructions, you always see what you have to be doing in the questioning, what you have to be including in your answer. Like, for example, if the question's instruction says you must write between 35 to 45 words, you must do exactly that. Like, if you write over like 100 words, that's totally useless. That's not in the frame anymore. Like, that's not the type, that's not the style that the examiners want you to do, the question wants you to do. So that's why they put in these kind of instructions to tell you that in what frame you have to be writing, in what style you have to be writing, and what kind of writing format you have to be using. And in this case, in the last video, part 2, we were observing how to understand the question of an email. So before actually approaching the question, we have to understand the question. Like reading the question, in every single question, like this type of exercises, we will be given instructions. So in the instructions, we will have everything. Like we will have all the information that we need to actually put in our answers, like the necessary things that we have to be doing, because this is what the examiners want you to do. This is what you are getting your marks for. If your answer is like totally perfect but you do not follow the instructions, this is totally useless. It's like wordless, and it's like a total waste of time because you didn't follow the instructions. So read the instructions and then go to the question, the main part. So in the main question, you will be given a scenario, a situation, or kind of like you have to be writing to somebody. Example, so you have to be writing your letter or an email to this person that the question gives you. This is like the question, the main type of the question, the main part of the question, and then it will be giving you some prompts for you to be easier to write. You will be like guided with these prompts because you don't have to like make things up. You don't have to make all the situations up in your head because in the question the prompts are already given. So what you have to do is read the instructions, read the question, and then you go to your writing stage. So actually before writing your answer, you have to plan how to write your answer. And before planning, you have to understand what the question wants you to do and what kind of answer the question wants and the examiners are looking for. So these are the steps, like these are the step-by-step situation. This is the sequence, like the general sequence and pattern and trying to understand and looking at a question. So these are like approaching the question in general. So we will have different parts of approaching the question. Like for example, in the first part, we will have to read the instructions. The second part is like to understand what the examiners want you to do by reading the instructions. And the second part is going to be reading the question and really understanding what it wants you to do. And then actually, after what you've gone through, after you read everything, after you've done everything, like reading the question and everything like that, after all these, you go to the main part of the question. Like if you're given a prompt, you go straight to those prompts, read those prompts, and you plan very fast, like very quickly in your examination situation. When you're pressurized and the examination pressure, you have to plan things out very automatically. And this is not a big problem because you can achieve this skill by practicing very regularly. So this is a matter of practice. Like this is the most important thing ever because practice is like practice makes perfect. So if you practice regularly, like at least maybe like 3 times a week, 3 days a week, at least, and then if you practice this regularly for a certain amount of time, this is going to be a really, really easy step. These are going to be really easy steps, and then you are going to be generating all these steps, and like at the same time, you will be able to manage these facts, and you will be able to manipulate whatever kind of question you come across in your examination. If you are taking the examination in the Cambridge language assessments, you will be able to manipulate the question, and you will be like very proficient in your own level of English. So these are the facts that you have to practice doing over and over again, because these are like a matter of practice for your planning your essay and understanding the question. So, yeah, let's get into it. All right, so this is the PowerPoint that I've created. This is the continuous part of the part two. So, this is writing in emails for the intermediate level. All right, so these are the facts that we observed last week, like from the last video. We read through these facts. Read the instructions carefully. We already know what it is. Underline the main words or the keywords. They mean basically the same. Choose suitable style for the question, formal or informal, etc., based on the reader. And choose suitable tenses for the question. Have appropriate word selection for the question type. Always refer back to the question. Like always refer to the question indirectly. So this is like actually this means that you have to keep in mind what the question actually asks you to do. Like never forget the instructions and what the main facts that you're going to be giving, like according to the instructions and according to the question type and everything like that. Always keep in mind what the question asks you to do, and then always show the readers and the examiners, if you're taking the examination, always try to show them that you understand the question that you are facing in the examination. And you can have done this by actually showing this, like showing that you really understand the question through your answer, like through your essay or through your writing piece, anything like that. Just use that piece as a tool and a medium for communication to communicate to the examiner. Like imagine that you're writing for the examiner, and the examiner is going to read your answer, read your writing piece, and then they are going to mark you. They're going to criticize and then analyze these things and do all those stuff. So your reader is your examiner, and then you have to communicate through your medium, which is your essay, which is your answer, and then you have to put in your expressions that you understand the question. So by doing so, you have a better opportunity and you have a better potential to actually having better marks than anybody else. That is like um, personal experience. So I thought this is a very good idea to share to other people too. So yeah, so keep in mind, always keep in mind what the question asks you to do, and then um, you can do this by actually choosing the appropriate words for the question, like especially for every single sentence of this question, like you have to choose the appropriate word selection. So these are like general facts on how to actually plan your writing piece. And then it's like the general ones when you are writing your thing, and then when you're trying to plan for your draft. So these are like the facts and the sequence of how to actually plan effectively and efficiently for your model answer and stuff like that. So yeah, so the next one says plan at least 1 point per prompt. So according to the question type, so if it is a long essay type, you must like plan 1 point per prompt, or the prompt that's given, or the prompt that you have to make up by yourself, you have to plan by yourself. If it's not given, like if the question doesn't give you any prompts, any clues, you have to do it by yourself according to the little statement that you're given. So these depend on the question type. So always read the question, plan your own if you don't have any given prompts, and then expand them. Like plan at least 1 point per prompt. So your own prompt has to have 1 point, and then you have to expand that with a appropriate with an appropriate example, of course. And then next one says give a topic sentence on what you're writing about in a long essay type. So this is also the same as the previous fact. So it says the previous fact says plan at least 1 point per prompt. So if you plan one main point, like the topic sentence, the topic point, and then you have to explain what that point means and what you actually want to try to say to the readers, to the examiners. Like when you're writing, it is not just writing. You have to make sure that the people who read this, who read your writing piece, understand very easily when you present your writing piece. You have to make sure that the people who are going to read your essay or your writing piece find it very easy to understand your presentation. So this is like, bear in mind, this is a fact for you to bear in mind. Like, this is a personal experience for me as well. So yeah, sharing this would be a great idea again. And then another thing is that expand the topic sentence with varying words if possible. So this is like what we've been talking about, like for the previous facts, like give a topic sentence on what you're talking about, what you're writing about in long essay type. So you have to explain, you definitely have to explain what your topic sentence means, because just by leaving that, the examiners or the readers, the new people that have never seen your writing piece before will come in and read your fact, read your essay, and then they will be like, what does this mean? What does this mean? So you have to include your own explanation, expansion of the topic sentence. Like, this is what I mean, here's what I mean. So by doing so, this is very like communication. This is a very effective communication to the reader, and then this is like a very effective fact for writing as well. And then the warning is to not repeat the same idea for more than once. This is a common misinterpretation, just like once again, just like the part 2, we have talked about this. Like most candidates want to repeat the same idea for more than once, because maybe it's because of the examination pressure. It may be because they were under pressure. So many situations can be happening in this case. So when they run out of ideas, they try to like do this in the very last situation. So instead, you have to be like have a very effective planning before you actually try to write something. So if you have your plan in hand, you will not be experiencing any of these pressures or situations in this examination. So this is the main thing not to do, because this is a very misinterpretation and a misconception that most candidates try to make to do. So it's like, do not repeat the same idea for more than once. Just like the previous example that I have given in my part 2 video, it was like, next week I am going to come to your place, and then I am going to come to your place next week. So this is a very simple example. Like just like those two sentences, they too mean exactly the same, but they have like different sentence structures, maybe other different words as well, but this is like a very simple one. So there will be other cases where people and the students try to do this. So this is like a misinterpretation, and we have to look out for that one. All right, so diving into the facts, the simplification of the facts, underlining the main words or the keywords. So the sample question says, you stayed with your English friend Tom last weekend. Still recording.